Bear with me a second. All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, as always, I want to give all praise unto our power, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachaha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations and blessings to the hopeful elect that are scattered throughout the four winds of the earth, that believe wholeheartedly in the true doctrine that is being pushed throughout the four winds of the earth, who are in hope of mercy and salvation during the time of Jacob's trouble, as well as when Yahweh Shai returns to the planet Earth. All right, to you only, as always, I say shalom. And may Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai continue to rain down grace and mercy upon you and your household. As you can see in the title, in the news, great trouble coming. All right, and this is based upon a few articles I have dealing with pestilence. All right, because what's coming, and we see Esau's game plan. We see exactly how he wants to bring in his new world order and force this RFID micro CHIP, and it's gonna come by way of as they would call medical I hope I didn't mess up my keyboard. Make sure it's working. But anyway, medical martial law, right? And as we look out into the world here in Babylon the Great, we're seeing these different Osirises start to break forth, all right? And we're seeing a very deadly strain, as they call it, the Ebola, all right, which is breaking forth in the Congo right now. And I have an article which states that some scientists tried to smuggle pathogens from that region into the U.S. So whether that's true or not, the narrative is being set. All right. You have all these different events getting ready to take place here in Babylon. You got the World Cup, which is going to be in LA. You're going to have a lot of people gathering there. So things are culminating, for them to control this narrative and well, it's spread this way, it's spread that way. And they already, certain news groups, alternative news, are already talking about, this World Cup that's going to be here in LA, how it's going to be all kinds of people gathered to watch some football or / soccer. And then not just that event, you got all kind of events that happen and take place over the summer. People like to be outside. So this is a grand moment for Esau Edom to not let a crisis go to waste. And that crisis is the Fanta, or the Hanta Fanta, the that Osiris that has been started out on that ship. And now there's talks of the Ebola. You know what I'm saying? Right before everybody getting ready for the summer to be outside, to take vacays. This ain't the time, man. This is not the time to be going on no damn cruise ship. You know what I'm saying? To be going to where these people are gathering, concerts. None of that, man, because you could be there and they can quarantine that whole goddamn place, whatever it may be, for 45 days. They could turn an event to a whole concentration camp based upon these different pestilences and Osiris's that they got out there, and that they creating this narrative to lock down Babylon the Great. You know, Dr. Fauci, he reared his face talking about it's time to go back to wearing masks and all this after he done killed millions the first go round. You know, Gil Bates, you know, he's showing himself. So all these so-called experts, which they're none of, you know, these are just the pawns that the elite are using to direct this narrative. All right. And they're gonna make it do what it does. All right, because the word of the Heavenly Father has to be fulfilled. All right. Matter of fact, let's start there. Let's start with a scripture here in the book of Isaiah 55. All right. Because if all of the Heavenly Father's word, oh damn, man. Hold on. Okay, there it goes. Back on. All of what's up, man? Why they ain't coming on? Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. All of the Heavenly Father's word is going to come to pass. All right. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 55 and 11. It says, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. And that's the Bible. All right. Everything that's been written in these holy scriptures is going to come to pass. All right. Before anything happens. All right. Everything has to come to pass. And what we're witnessing is this pestilence getting set up to come to pass, which is going in turn have Esau Edom lock things down, and then ultimately force a micro sea hip down the throats of the people. And you will have to make a choice on whether you're gonna take it or whether you're not. Right? You will have to make that conscious decision. And us here at Great Millstone have been warning since day one. All right. Do not take the RFID micro C hip. All right. Because that is the mark of the beast, and that will guarantee you a VIP seat to nuclear destruction. And you don't want to play with the Most High and gamble with that. All right. You rather just lay your life down rather than have them field them missiles, because even if you die from being beheaded, that's going to be a quick death, and you will return with the Lord. All right. Because we know and understand that some of us may have to lay our life down by being beheaded. All right. But that's an honorable death in the sight of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right. And you will return. Right. You will be resurrected when Yahweh Shai returns back to the planet Earth. All right. You won't have to be born again in the kingdom of heaven. The Lord is going to raise you up. Okay. So again, Isaiah 55 and 11, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I've pleased. In the Most High, we read about a pestilence. We read about great death, things that have to come to pass that, aren't so pleasant. All right. But we know they have to come to pass. And the things and the people that it happens to are the people that are in the who have the wrath of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai upon them, because if they of our people, they haven't repented, and they are part of the 2/3. All right. It must go down that way. And we seeing it getting ready to go down that way. The like I said, the narrative is already being laid out for it to just roll out. And we know, what's happening as far as these Osirises. A lot of these people already have this Osiris within their bloodstream. I remember going back 2021, 2022, we were saying people that take that, they're ticking time bombs. And now we're starting to see the ticker expire to zero. This is why you're having these outbreaks. Okay. So it says, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. All right. And the pestilence is one of the things the Lord sent. All right. What did Yahushua say? Not one jot nor one tittle. Let's get that. Yahushua said this in Matthew the 5th chapter. Let's start at 17. All right. Matthew 5 and 17, it says, think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. That means the so-called Old Testament. All right. Yahushua didn't come to destroy that. You Christians out there. All right. You Christians walk around with a New Testament Bible only. And don't have no idea what it's talking about. Right. Yahushua himself said this, think not that I'm come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill them. He came to fulfill the things that are written within the law and the prophets, as well as the writings. All right. The entire book. All right. Because things have not happened that's written in the law and in the prophets. The certain prophecies haven't even happened. All right. But they're getting ready to happen. Everything is getting ready to hit in a major way. Okay. Verse 18, for verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. All right. Everything has to be fulfilled. We must go through a time of trouble. We must go through complete anarchy, chaos, destruction, people shooting at each other in broad daylight, public, government officials, military, all right, regular citizens, militias, all right. These things are already written, so they have to come to pass, all right. So from that, let's go to this first article I have, which coincides with the next article I have, but let's check these articles out. As you can see here, this is from Weon. And this is going on in the Congo right now as we speak. All right. It says at least 100 die in Democratic Republic of Congo due to Ebola outbreak. 6 Americans exposed. CDC takes steps to prevent spread. No, they not. They telling you that's what they doing, but that's just a part of the narrative. All right. Now, remember, if you remember that movie Outbreak with the monkey, I forget what town that was in America in the movie, but this is what this was the Osiris that was taking over. All right. Movie Outbreak. All right. Let's read a little bit. It says story highlights. It says the U.S. government is reportedly looking to arrange transport for a small group of Americans in the DR Congo to a safe quarantine location, and they could be taken to a U.S. military base in Germany. The CDC said that the risk to the U.S. was relatively low, and they said that back in 2020. Remember, It's going to break out here in Babylon. Trust and believe you me. All right. Out of control status. It says at least 100 people have reportedly died to Ebola in the Democratic Republic of Congo, with more than 390 cases still suspected. So, and that's just going to continue to rise. All right. This Ebola ain't nothing to play with. All right. The next article I'm gonna show you, they gonna talk about how the so-called monkey, because it's a monkey that bit a scientist, was bleeding out of his orifices. All right. Now, if you remember, if you've been watching brothers' videos going back to 2021, 2022, 2023, we've done videos to show you that a lot of these doctors that were put to death, that were unalived, and scientists that was trying to blow the whistle on the JAB, and what they found in these strains or in those vials, the different nanoparticles that contain Ebola, HIV, and all these different strains of Osiris's, right? These Osiris's that they found, one of the side effects was hemorrhagic fever. All right. To where your body will heat up and you will bleed out of all of your orifices, bleed out of your ears, your eyes, your nose, your mouth. All right. Because whatever they put in that effing vial, they getting ready to let them things burst within your system. All right. And your immune system has been totally compromised if you've been walking around. So you will have no defense against it. You will just have to suffer and go through that, lest ye be of the elect, and the Lord, heals you of that infirmity and that bad decision you made to taking that juice, right? And we ain't gonna stop saying it either. All you other Israelite groups that told your congregations to go out there and take that juice, all right, take it if you have to. Look at us, we taking it. Y'all all are gonna be guilty of the blood that's gonna be spilled of people that listen to you. All right, that blood is gonna be required at your hands, pursuing the Ezekiel, the 33rd chapter. Okay, because you didn't warn them. You told them take the poison, and when they croak and you start croaking, that's gonna be your just dessert. Okay, because you trusted your enemy. So again, at least 100 people have reportedly died due to the Ebola in the Democratic Republic of Congo, with more than 390 cases still suspected, said the head of Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Esau's all over the damn planet, doing what he does. It says the current strain of Ebola is caused by the Bundibugyo, however you pronounce that, Bundibugyo Osiris, for which there are no approved drugs or vaccines. Okay. But you got it under control. You got it at your CDC. You know what I'm saying? So this is an indicator. They're gonna let a lot of y'all, they're gonna let a whole lot of people go back to the spirit world. There's no approved drugs or vaccines for it. You know what? I'm gonna type something in real quick. It says the World Health Organization, the WHO, has declared the outbreak an international emergency. That's the indicator right there that it's coming. All right. Great trouble is coming. That's the indicator. It's been declared an international emergency. All right. Now, let's do this real quick. What is the the mortality percentage? I think that's how I could word it. Yep, that came up, but I'm even finish it. Here's the so I typed in what is the fatality rate of Ebola? It says the overall mortality rate of Ebola averages about 50%. However, case fatality rates have historically ranged from 25 to 90% in past outbreaks. All right. 25 to 90%. It says, depending heavily on the specific strain and how quickly patients receive medical care. This is the one right here. Well, that they say is coming from the Congo. It has the lower historical mortality rate, approximately 25%. All right. But hey, that could jump. You know, they're gonna start to like they did before. The strain gonna change, it'll mutate, you know. It says patient's prognosis is largely determined by early diagnosis and access to supportive treatment such as intravenous fluids and approved therapeutics, which can drastically improve survival chances. But remember, we just read there is no for this strain right here, there is no drugs nor vaccines to cure it. So which one is it? You see, they just throw these numbers out and they throw out this information, and they are playing on your mind. Okay, that was it on this article. Let's go back. Let's go to this one I have here on the People's Voice. The NIH virologist caught smuggling Congo Ebola pathogens into U.S. just before the Hootie Who announces deadly outbreak. All right. Just before they made it an international emergency, somebody so-called was caught smuggling in pathogens into the U.S. You can't make this up. You know what I'm saying? You can't make this shit up, man. The narrative is already set. They getting ready. You people out there that have taken that jump shot, all right. You better be praying to your how about Shem Yahweh Shai. All right. You better be going through serious detox of that poison out of your body with the help of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. Otherwise, you might as well set your house in order. You know what I'm saying? Because it's about to go down. A lot of people, excuse me, a lot of people are getting ready to be unalived out here, man. All right. Remember what Gil Bates said. He said that the next one will get your attention with that demonic smirk on his face. They plan on unaliving 7.5 billion people. Okay. That's their plan. They want the population down drastically by 2030. All right. So that they can continue with their agenda according to them. But now we know they ain't gonna bring it into full fruition, but you best believe they gonna do what they gotta do. The Lord is getting ready to allow them to. All right. Let's read this here. And I got it's a couple videos down here at the bottom. This one right here, they're gonna be talking about it. And I think that's it. Yeah. Look at this dramatic ass picture. You know what I'm saying? See, this the type of shit right here that's going to bring fear. All right. And that's what they absolutely need, fear. All right. To get things moving. Just like going back to 2020, most people were afraid of the COVID. All right. People were so scared they was letting these devils stick that long ass Q-tip down their nostril and rubbing it all on their brain, man. They blood brain barrier, right? That's how scared people was. Voluntarily doing that shit, man. Lining up and really nothing happened. Wasn't nobody dropping dead in the public. You know what I'm saying? It was just word of mouth, CNN and different news broadcasts. I remember the NBA game. It was I forget. I know Donovan Mitchell was playing, but I believe he was on the Utah Jazz at the time. And they just stopped the game. You know what I'm saying? And the refs ran out the arena. Everybody looking around like, what's going on? That was the shock and awe. And just that alone had people afraid. You know, people was divorcing, families got divided because of the jump shot they rolled out, and some didn't want to take it, some took it. You know, you couldn't see your parents if you didn't have the jump shot and they were in the hospital. You couldn't go in the hospital if you weren't jump shotted. It was a whole goddamn shit show. Okay, but this time, oh, they gonna really show their ass. See, that was a whole data collection operation that they did back in 2020. You know what I'm saying? And that's why Gil Bates had that demonic smirk on his face, because he like, yeah, we got y'all now. This next one, oh, you gonna definitely bend the knee to what we want, because when you start to see family members, y'all all in the same house, y'all could be watching the soccer game together, barbecuing and shit, kids running around, and two grandparents, two parents, or whatever that took the jump shot start just fall over, bleeding out of their orifices. You know what I'm saying? You know the type of panic and turmoil that's gonna cause throughout Babylon the Great when it's happening all over the place. People are gonna people are gonna be scared shitless. They're gonna want to do whatever this government is telling them to do. Especially if you've been around like the bodies and whatnot. Oh, you're gonna be quarantined. You know, it's gonna be worse than these movies, man, that they put out. So let's read this a little bit and then get some of this video. It says top NIH Ebola researcher Vincent Munster, a long time falsely, this guy, all right, Dr. Falsely, that's what we call him. A long time Dr. Falsely collaborator and head of high risk Osiris work at Rocky Mountain Laboratories, was caught at a U.S. airport attempting to bring undeclared pathogen samples from the Democratic Republic of Congo into America without proper permits or documentation. Can't make this shit up. This narrative is being set, and it was already set when you people took that jab. Okay. It says the FBI is now investigating the shocking biosecurity breach, while the mainstream media buries this scandal, right? Because you ain't heard nothing about this in mainstream media. Because I looked at CNN, you know, I looked at MSNBC. You don't hear about this, right? It says the World Health Organization has rushed to declare Ebola Bundibugyo outbreak in the DR of Republic of Congo and Uganda a public health emergency of international concern. They getting ready to do this. All right. They getting ready to make this thing happen. Okay. And they gonna shut everything down just like they did before, but this time is going to be a lot more draconian. All right. They got drones. All right. It's going to be a lot more draconian this time, and digital. Everything's going to be digital. They're going to be able to know if you took uh said medication. They're going to come up and say they have for it. Okay. This is pretty much what we read in the other article. Matter of fact, let's just read it real quick. It says officials report around 300 suspected cases, dozens confirmed, and at least 88 deaths, mostly in eastern DRC's Ituri province, with travel links spread into Uganda. This rare strain has no approved vaccine or therapeutics, and it's exploding in a chaotic conflict zone near porous borders. So there you have it. It's happening. Okay. And they're going to continue to, the next time a report on it comes up, it's probably going to be 700, you know what I'm saying, cases. They're going to really dramatically, show that this thing is definitely international concern, as the Hootie Who declared already. This is a Twitter tweet from Laura Loomer. It says, the Hootie Who declares Ebola outbreak in the DRC and Uganda Republic health emergency of international concern, while NIH's Vincent Munster was just caught smuggling Ebola samples into America. So she sees the narrative being pushed out here. You could see the narrative. Let me see if I can read this. Let's click it. Let's do that. Oh, it ain't okay. Let's see. You know what? I can't. That's too small for me to read. Let's just listen to the video. I'll place this link in the description box if you want to check out. I read it on my phone. I was able to zoom in. Wait, let me see. I could read it. I'm gonna just read the red part. Where I'm gonna start here. It says in syndromic reporting of suspected cases and clusters of deaths across the province of Ituri, all point towards a potentially much larger outbreak than what is currently being detected and reported, with significant local and regional risk of spread. All right. So they telling you it's gonna spread. Down here in the red, it says, however, unlike for Ebola Zaire strains, there are currently no approved Bundagio Osiris specific therapeutics or vaccines. As such, this event is considered extraordinary. All right. So they, like I said, they paint this narrative, man. All right. And we see where it's going because we understand the Holy Scriptures. All right. So let's listen to this conversation they have right here. Now this is Justin Goodman and a White Coast Waste just joined me to expose a disgusting NIH, which I believe NIH is National Institute of Health, cover up involving biological sabotage and Ebola infected monkeys in Montana, which is up north of the West Coast. Okay. The NIH is covering up a lab accident where a staffer was bitten by a monkey carrying this same strand. Now let's listen to this conversation. And I remember specifically you had doctors talking about these are the type of things that's going to happen when they release those pathogens that was in that jump shot. I specifically remember it. Okay. And I'm sure some of y'all brothers and sisters out there remember as well. These are the things that they were talking about that would happen. All right. And this is why we warned you not to take that damn jump shot, man. You know? This devil, man, this devil is he's more subtle than any beast that the Lord's powers had made. He ain't gonna tell you what, he gonna say is good for you. And he gonna stick your ass, and then that grin is gonna be on his face. This one is gonna generate so much fear, people are gonna line up to take that mother effing MOTB. And we only talking pestilence aspect of these times of trouble. We ain't talking about everything else that's gonna be on the table. All right. The fear will be generated for real this time. And if you're not in the know, guaranteed you're gonna fold. Because ain't none of us seen the type of death that's getting ready to come to these streets, to come to a city near you. Ain't none of us seen it. You know what I'm saying? We've been living in Babylon our whole lives. We've been privileged to be able to walk to the corner store, you know what I'm saying, and buy things, all type of food, restaurants. We've been spoiled. We ain't seen no crazy shit that's getting ready to happen. So when it happens, it's gonna take a whole lot of people by surprise, shock and awe. You know what I'm saying? And the reason we're not gonna be bugged out and shock and awe is because the Lord has opened up his book to us. And we can see it through the scriptures, man. You know what I'm saying? We've been given that eye salve. That's why we're not gonna bug out like the rest of these people. Okay.
Person to a local hospital. Apparently, they flew them to somewhere hours away to avoid being detected, so the press and the public would not find out that one of the staffers at their local lab in this small Montana town was bitten by a monkey who was infected with Crimean Congo hemorrhagic fever. So, between a lab accident that resulted in someone getting bitten by an infected monkey, a smuggling incident by one of the NIH's top virology animal experimenters, who's now under the FBI investigation.
And Kennedy, for clarification too, it's not that he's just under FBI investigation. Kennedy confirmed to me in writing that Vincent Munster is, he said, quote, likely going to prison. So there seems to be a deliberate criminal element to this too, not just, oh, well, I'm going to smuggle these viruses in for research purposes. Kennedy's not allowed to talk about this because it's an active FBI investigation, but he told me, I mean, he put it in writing. He told me that, and he didn't say that this was off the record when I asked him. So, you know, I don't know if people are upset about this, but there was no conversation about this being off the record, right? It was me reaching out for comment, and everybody knows that I'm a journalist. And I said, so what's going on here? Is this real? Is this, you know, are you referring to Vincent Munster? What's going on? And he says, yep, he's under FBI investigation. He's likely going to prison. And I said, you're referring to Munster? He goes, yes. So he is probably going to go to prison. And I think that we should know what this foreign-born virologist was doing with an Ebola virus coming into the United States of America, and why they want him to go to jail. I mean, if it was simply an accident, right? And I'm not trying to justify his behavior by any means whatsoever, but what does the FBI know that they're not telling us? Was he planning on committing some kind of act of bioterrorism? Was he planning on unleashing this? We know that Vincent Munster hates President Trump. Was he trying to unleash another virus during the Trump administration to ruin President Trump's legacy again, or to have President Trump get blamed for an Ebola outbreak? What's going on?
Trump's legacy is already ruined, lady. But as you see, people are concerned. Like, how the fuck he get over here trying to smuggle some shit? But again, I believe that's just a part of the narrative. That's just my personal opinion. I'm 100% with a lot of people already have this shit within their bloodstream. And them nanoparticles that's gonna burst. You know what I'm saying? By way of them using frequencies. Some of them could be programmed to burst after a certain amount of time. Who knows? But that's where I'm at with it. You know, I ain't like, let's get that scripture. We ain't ignorant to Satan's devices, man. All right. And, you know, majority of people, they are. What is that? 2 and 11. Bear with me a second. Blue letter be tripping, man. 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. Bring it up on the screen. Let me see. Straight to the point. 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, which, again, a lot of people, Satan had got the advantage of you going back to late 2020, going into 2021. And you listening to these people, you was afraid to lose your job. You know, your family isolated you and you gave in. Well, you was ignorant to the devices of Satan. Okay. And now that here we are in the year 2026, all right, the year of apostates, sellouts, and agents, now they're rolling out this new thing, so-called new Osiris's. But what's up with all the information that's been brought out ever since they rolled out the jab? All the information that points to, you know what I'm saying, people catching HIV, Your immune system is totally shot. You know what I mean? You having to take blood thinners the rest of your life, and all these different diseases skyrocketed after they gave people these jump shots. Okay? So a lot of you were ignorant to the devices of Satan. So again, 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices, right? And that's what we weren't ignorant to that shit, man. We wasn't like, fuck that. Nope. We ain't taking no jump shot. You know? We ain't going for it. Because we knew through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai what the scriptures say. What do the scriptures say about trusting your enemy? All right. It says to never trust thine enemy. Let's get that. Book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12. Let's get it. Book of Sirach 12. And go straight to the point. Verse 10. Let me look at the whole chapter. There we go. Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10, or Sirach chapter 12, verse 10. It says, never trust thine enemy. All right. Your enemy are these Edomites, all these other nations. They are your enemy. When you go to the doctor, you know, you go into these hospitals and it's the Edomite or it's an Elamite, it's a Moabite giving you care. That's your enemy right there. You understand? And by you not taking care of your own health, all right, you going to these hospitals, now you at the devil's mercy. And this ain't where you want to be at, man. Why you think we be doing videos on health and all that? Health and bodily exercise. Because that's what keeps your body healthy. You know, that's a way to combat this devil and everything he got going on. You know, ultimately the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, but you got to take care of your temple. You know? Don't tempt the Lord. Hey, Solomon knew about the herbs, right? The Daniel, when you go to Daniel, speaks about the Daniel fast. Okay? We have everything we need inside these holy scriptures to show us how to be healthy. All right? And not only that, we got brothers throughout Babylon that do videos on being healthy. You know, going on Apostle Gabar going on the 6 mile walk. You know, with a weighted vest on. And some of us just, you know, we just you ain't got the spirit to get yourself in order. You know what I'm saying? When you should. You don't know what you may have to walk during them times. And you ain't walked a mile in years. But when all hell break loose, you may have to walk 6-10 miles, you know, just to get to some type of safety. You never know. Remember the scriptures say, when these evils grow on the earth, be ye as pilgrims. A lot of our people don't take this word serious, man, and they gonna be fucked up out here, man. You know, you got Israelites online selling t-shirts with fringes. You know, it's just all manner of not understanding of what the hell our people. They don't understand what they are involved in when it comes to this truth, when it comes to this knowledge that we've been given. All right, we've been given back our heritage through the spirit. You think Esau Edom is cool with that? He ain't cool with that. A lot of y'all don't understand what it is you're involved in, man. But you're gonna have to become of a quick understanding here in the very near future. All right. Otherwise, you're going to bug out like the rest of these peons out here. So again, Sirach 12:10, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, okay, that's what they did with that damn jump shot. They was humble and they went crouching and said, we got it. Operation Warp Speed. We need all Americans safe. This, that, and the third. You won't be able to work. You won't be able to do this. You won't be able to do that. And then it went from you won't be able to do that, or if you do it, we'll give you this. We'll give you that. That's how you know it was all bullshit. They started giving you Krispy Kreme donuts, Big Macs, lap dances, weed. They was giving out weed if you took the jump shot, man. Okay? It says, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. See, we waited it out. Those of us who waited it out, now we could see, yep, that motherfucker was up to something. Now we find out the whole goddamn time them vials were filled with parasites that can line your whole vascular system. You know what I'm saying? Self-replicating graphene oxide. Okay. Nanoparticles that are filled with Osiris's. And that it all can like I said, control or build itself through your whole vascular system and your brain to block your neurons. This is the information that's been coming out about that damn jump shot. All right. And we took heed to what the scriptures say. Never trust our enemy. All right. Because he's not for our time, man. As the scriptures say. And matter of fact, let's get that one. In Wisdom of Solomon 2. Okay. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2. And I'm gonna start at this is the mind of the ungodly. Right, this whole chapter. I'm gonna start at verse 10. It says, let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous. All right, because he is not for our turn. And he is clean contrary to our doings. That's the hopeful elect out there, man. All right. He upbraideth us with our offending the law, and objective to our infamy, the transgressions of our education. Right? Because we don't need no fucking needle to get healthy. The Lord gave us herbs and things of that nature to heal ourselves. We don't need Esau Edom's needles. All right. It says, he professeth to have the knowledge of the Most High, and he calleth himself the child of the Lord. He was made to reprove our thoughts. And this is the prophets. A lot of y'all don't even believe that the prophets are here, man. Okay? Especially those of you who are still up under that Christian church spell. You don't believe that the prophets look like you. You don't believe that the prophets are even here on the planet Earth. You believe there ain't no prophets. Okay? But the prophets are definitely here. Okay? Verse 15, he is grievous unto us even to behold, and that's the prophets. The prophets are grievous unto these Edomites to even look at, because they know what the prophets are saying is the absolute truth. All right. When they see us on them street corners, right? Like the story the apostles tell every now and then. What one year they was out there, I believe it was on 34th and 7th, or it could have been another block, but a black limo rolled up and one of them Edomites hopped out and was talking about, how did you guys find out? You know what I'm saying? How did you find out? Because we weren't supposed to find out up to this devil who we were, who we are. All right. Because they spent trillions of dollars to hide who we are, man. But here we are all throughout Babylon the Great, in every major city, right? Throughout the planet Earth, on them street corners, telling this man who he is and how he's gonna go down, and that we are the true people of the Heavenly Father. That's what makes it grievous unto him to behold us. All right. It says he is grievous unto us even to behold, for his life is not like other men's, right? His ways are of another fashion. Simple. We live a simple life, right? It says we don't run to the doctor when we get sick. You know? It says we are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. He pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that the Most High is his Father. Absolutely. Now check this out. It says, let us see if his words be true. This is the mind of the ungodly, these devils. All right. And let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. For if the just man be the son of the Most High, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies. Let us examine him with despitefulness and torture. And these things are coming. You best believe that we may know his meekness and prove his patience. Let us condemn him with a shameful death, for by his own saying he shall be respected. Such things they did imagine and were deceived. Okay. And that's what's going to happen. These devils are they're going to find out how deceived they are. All right. When the Lord lifts up that standard for his elect. Okay. It says, for their own wickedness have blinded them. As for the mysteries of the Most High, they knew them not. Neither hoped they for the wages of righteousness, nor discerned a reward for blameless souls. For the Most High created man to be immortal. What man? The Israelite man. All right. That's the only man the Most High created to be immortal. So-called Negro, Latino, and Native American man. All right. That's the man that was created to be immortal. And there will be 144,000 immortals. All right. Remember with David Wilcock, the information he brought out about Simeon Toko. All right. And what did Simeon Toko tell the U.S. government officials that tried to, destroy him, and he just kept rematerializing? He told them in the end, it's going to be more of us that come, and you ain't going to be able to do nothing about it. All right. That's talking about the 144,000 that the Lord is going to raise up. All right. So it says, for the Most High created man to be immortal, the Israelite man, and made him to be an image of his own eternity. All right. Nevertheless, through envy of the devil, all right, going back to Cain, came death into the world. And they that do hold of his side do find it. And a lot of our people, you're under that vibration of Cain. All right. Esau has your mind hook, line, and sinker. Okay. He got you confused with Christianity. All these different religions that has your mind totally in a goddamn a wormhole. You can't get out. All right. But you gonna realize it when this pestilence comes. Let's pull up Psalms 91. You know, I've gone over this before, but I want to bring it out again. Because when this pestilence hit, it's gonna hit like an ambush. All right. Because it tells you the pestilence that walketh in darkness here in the 6th verse. But I'm gonna start at the top. And when we get there, we're gonna look that word up. All right. Psalms 91:1. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High, excuse me, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. All right, the secret place is this knowledge, right? In the names of Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai. Okay, that's you can't be in the secret place if you don't have those names. All right, that's like the key to get in the secret place. If you ain't calling on those names and truly believing in those names, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, you truly are not in the secret place. If you calling on Yahuwah and Yeshua, you are not in the secret place. Okay? And there's a lot of you Israelites that are using those names. You better get it together. You better get it together. You definitely ain't in the secret place if you calling on Jesus the Christ. If every other word out your mouth is Christ this and Christ that, Most High Christ bless this, that, and the third, you ain't in the secret place. You playing. That's what you doing. You playing. You tempting the Most High like the Most High ain't finna really jack your shit up, man. Or jack this whole Babylon. The whole earth finna get go through this trial. And you calling on the wrong names. And you proud about it. Okay? If you don't have the true names of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, you are not in the secret place. Okay? Verse 2, I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress. That Lord, all caps, that word there is Yahweh. Okay? He is my refuge and my fortress, my power. In him will I trust. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. Okay? He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness. Let's look up this word pestilence that walketh in darkness. Okay. Let's look up this word pestilence. We know what pestilence is. All right. Pestilence is, well, we'll look it up since we're here. A plague, murrain, disease of cattle, right? Let's see if it says, here we go down here. Destruction, death, okay? Hence a plague, okay? So let's go back. Now let's look up walketh in darkness. Or walketh, you know, we'll look that one up too. To walk, to go, right? To traverse, walk about, to lead, bring, right? To walk. We understand that word. Now let's look up darkness. Right? The Hebrew word is apal. Apal. Darkness, gloom, spiritually unreceptivity, calamity, darkness, obscurity, privily, right? Darkness, especially thick metaphor of misery, misfortune, also of a place of ambush. Ambushes happen when you're not aware that they're getting ready to happen. They just on your shit, right? That's how this pestilence is going to hit. It's just going bam. And you in the midst of it. You know what I'm saying? Like we always mention, we mention movies like Kingsman. We mention those movies. We mention the movie Sail. What other movies out there? There was an actual TV show. A brother sent it years ago, but it was an episode to where you had everybody just falling out, bleeding out of their orifices. You had the latest Black Mirror episode with those little computer bots. Dude was on the he was obsessed with his little computer minions, and he was communicating with them, and they were telling him to build a frequency, and once he allows that frequency to go out through the earth, everybody that heard it they fell out and died. You know? So can you imagine that happening? What type of reaction you will have? Okay? Now, us that know and understand the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, as soon as it happens, we're going to know what's up. But just imagine those people that don't know. They're going to be spazzing out. They're going to go into a state of shock. They're going to be froze. But us personally, hopeful members of the elect, we're going to already know what time it is. And that's because the Lord has opened up our mind. He has opened us up to this truth. All right? It gives us Psalms 11 right here. Let's see what that says. Psalms 11, then we'll come back to that. Psalms 11 and 2, it says, for lo, the wicked bend their bow, they make ready their arrow upon the string, that they may privily shoot at the upright in heart. I bet you the word is privily. Let's see. Yep. Paul, privily. See? So this whole narrative that they're pushing, it's just that, the narrative. The real action took place back in late 2020, going into 2021, 2022, when people were taking that damn jump shot. All right? They did it privily. All right? And now they're able to create this ambush of a pestilence that's going to drive people right into his lap to receive that MOTB, to receive safety, to receive help. All right? So let's go back to Psalms 91. I'm getting ready to close it out. Psalms 91. Verse 6 again. Nor the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. All right? The missiles ultimately. It says, 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Okay? Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. All right? A lot of people, you're going to see a lot of dead people. You may have never seen a dead body in your life. Or at least not at a funeral. But you're going to see a whole lot of people be taken off this planet Earth with their shell laid out wherever they may be. We all going to see it. Okay? We all going to see it. This is what Yahweh Hashem Yahushua has prescribed. Okay? He prescribed bodies on top of bodies. Okay? Verse 9, because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. All right. And we just read about the plague of the Ebola. All right. You still have the Fanta, the Hanta Fanta plague. All right. And they plan on those plagues. Okay. But it ain't gonna come nigh our dwellings. All right. Because we have made Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai our refuge. Okay. 11, for he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. And this is why I say, if you did make that foolish decision, you should be in constant prayer, as we all should, detoxing your body, you know what I'm saying, in hopes that the Lord is going to have mercy on you, man. All right. It says, for he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. Same way. And when you go to Revelation 3, verse 10, where it speaks about, since thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them. Well, the Lord, how is he going to do that? By sending his angels to protect us. All right. It says, they shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Right? You won't even stub your toe in that day. It says, thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet. And that's when the Lord ultimately gives certain men, his elect men, power to tread upon the lion and the adder, which is Esau, Edom, in the form of his military, his martial law troops, ICE, because they all going to be sent to clamp down. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have on the biohazard extra out suits with weapons. Oh, another movie, The Crazies. All right. They sent the military in there on that town in the movie The Crazies. Okay. Wearing respirators and shit. Those masks. And they straight up was out there to burn the people. And then ultimately what they do to the city, they nuked it. They nuked the city, man, in that movie, the Crazies. Right? It says, thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet, because he hath set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he have known my name. There's the name again, which is Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai. Those are the names you are to call upon in them times. Here it is. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. All right. So let me let you finish this video, which had nothing but a little bit left, a couple seconds. But ultimately, man, the narrative is already set. You know what I'm saying? It's already set. We just waiting for it to go live. That's it.
On here, we know that this guy is a virulent anti-Trumper.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So, yep, the narrative set. Well, let me check this out. This is something happening in France. French police using drones equipped with thermal imaging to locate uninoculated cows. You think they ain't gonna do that with people? One of the things with that juice, what was it? What was the term? Luciferase. All right, which they get that from I believe it was some type of sea turtle or animal, which basically when they use infrared lighting or something like, these type of thermal imaging and so-called blue lights. If they were to put the blue light up to your body, they could tell if you have that luciferase within your bloodstream, which will indicate what? That you have been inoculated. So there in France, they using drones to see if these people have been inoculating their cows. And how are they doing it? Using a drone with infra or thermal imaging. They're going to do that shit here to see if you taking the juice. Let's play this real quick.
La loi est toujours dans le même sens, monsieur.
Eh non.
De toute façon, je ne discute plus. C'est pas la peine, vous ne voulez pas entendre.
Non, mais je comprends votre position, madame.
Non, si vous compreniez, monsieur, vous ne seriez pas devant moi. Parce que vous ne connaissez pas l'histoire de la ferme.
Okay, they speak in another language. So basically, they refused to inoculate their cows. So authorities showed up. How do they know they didn't inoculate the cows? It's because these damn drones. So they're going to use that same type of technology on the people. All right. Luciferase is another thing that was in that damn jump shot. All right. To where they can use thermal imaging or blue lights to tell if you took that juice. All right. It says French police are now using drones equipped with thermal imaging to locate cattle hidden in the country whose owners refused to jump shot. See? And you could tell she's distraught. You know what I'm saying? They trying to control the food and every goddamn thing, man. This devil got to go. So I'm going to end it here, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. This was just in the news. The stage is being set. This devil was he's doing what he said he was gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Or what the scripture said he was gonna do. And it's just a matter of time before it all, hits the fan. And then the real test is gonna happen. The real trial of all of our faith. But as long as we are sincere, all right, continue to pray, call on those names, fast if need be, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is going to protect us as he promised, man. So with that, give all praise to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. And we on to the next. Hey, Shalom, Shalom.